Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Sandalphon, come assist me with this broadcast today to help others who are open to cleansing, detoxing, and nourishing their body for the spring. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, my Earthlight friends. How are you today? Today is April the 5th, 2022. And I came on today. The main topic is about spring cleaning, cleansing the inside of our body. Next time we'll talk about cleansing your house and feng shui. But today we're talking about the internal environment. So I embarked on a 14-day green cleanse. So what does that mean? That means for 14 days, all I ingested were green vegetables, organic, and I was as creative as possible. Let me just go down here a little. I was creative as possible in having it to be tasty. So this was a cleanse that was under the tutelage of Dr. Akmal Mawakil. Now I know that's a mouthful, and I'll put in the description below. I believe it's healingarts.com or .net. So I'll put in his website. He's been around for many years as a naturopath, nutritionist, and herbalist, and Tui Na master, ancient form of Chinese bodywork. And so my body had gotten filled with candida. And candida is just a fancy word for too much yeast. And I was craving a lot of sugar. And I realized I had to do something, or candida can actually turn into a chronic condition. And so if we nip it in the bud, it won't turn into a condition that shows up in a medical office scan and then turn into something even more serious. So this is what I did. I got 4 different herbal teas from him. And again, I don't speak Chinese, and they're all in Chinese. They're different herbs to cleanse the liver and the organ network. You know, the kidneys, the liver, the spleen, the gallbladder. And I got it in a tea form. So the tea, some of it was okay. Like the tea that I'm drinking right now, I would start my morning with the one that was filled with mushrooms. And I like that. I like mushrooms. They're very hearty. They're very grounding. It's called polyporous. I loved having the one filled with mushrooms. Some of you may know that follow me. I found a humongous last summer reishi mushroom, which is a very, very rare mushroom to find right in the woods of Northern Virginia. And it's very expensive. And in Chinese medicine, it's like the king and queen of mushrooms. And so the reishi act like Pac-Man, and they can eat up the unhealthy cells that later on in life could lead to like the big C. And again, the big C doesn't just happen overnight. It happens over years and years. So all of these things can be prevented by creating an environment which is really neutral. Another word would be alkaline. So I would start my morning with that, and then I would have, it's called green earth food. And a lot of you probably know how great spirulina is for you. Irish sea moss. When I was in Costa Rica, I bought some Irish sea moss, and then I, soaked it overnight and made a big jar of it. And it's really good for balancing the thyroid. And it's really good for giving you iodine. So again, you're not going to, Aphrodite wants to be part of this apparently. So anyway, the iodine is what a lot of people are lacking, and then they get on a prescription drug for the rest of their life, not realizing that something as simple as seaweed, which is, would you like some polyporous? Something as simple as seaweed is can help balance the thyroid. You don't need to be on medicine your whole life. And barley grass, so spirulina, Irish moss, barley grass, they all go together. Moringa, alfalfa, and fucus. And I will tell you, focus. Ever since this 14-day fast, I can focus so much better. And midway through, I was having fantasies. No, not sexual fantasies, fantasies about like chicken that I used to eat as a kid, or pizza that I used to have in the Italian district. And what happens is it's cleansing out the liver and the kidneys and all of these organs. And these organs also hold emotions. So a lot of times we will eat to cover up painful emotions. And they say that cheese is just as addictive as heroin. So I'd rather be hooked on cheese than heroin, but it is challenging. So midway through, I really did have a lot of cravings. If I worked a vigorous 9 to 5, I wouldn't have been able to do it because some mornings I slept later. And then after I got through the craving, and I could have, okay, so if it was green, I could have it. So I would do peas. But what I would do is I would steam the peas, and I put a little olive oil on it, sea salt, pepper, and I'd also put some onion and garlic. You could have onion and garlic because that's very antifungal. So anyway, to make a long story short, this was not a boring, green, because I would steam it sometimes. Sometimes I would have Brussels sprouts that I love with onion and garlic and turmeric, and I would stir fry that in avocado oil. I would have, broccoli. I would have big salads. Again, if it was green, you could have it. So remember, Kermit the Frog, it's easy being green. It's easy being green. I even started wearing all green. I even started seeing like the chlorophyll in the trees and being more connected to the plant life. And then after a while, like I said, I did not. And my organic market, they have a coffee machine there. And when I walk through, I would get a little coffee, and they might have organic soy milk with vanilla, lots of sugar. And I'd always pour that in there. Well, guess what? Their coffee machine broke the day that I started this fast. It was almost like it was my saving grace because I had nothing to tempt me. And my son was not in town. So he's a vegan, but still he would have food that's not green. So I wasn't tempted by that. So the first week, just like any detox, was the very most challenging. Now, once I got towards the end, and Akmal said I could have a little bit of organic coffee. So if I was really tired and I had to walk the dog, I'd have a little bit of organic coffee, but I got used to drinking it black. I have never in my whole life drank black coffee. So again, I got the expensive kind from Peru and the fancy kind, and then I would have 100% cacao. Again, I'm used to having cacao, but I might put a little honey in it. I didn't have any honey. So I could feel the die-off happening. I could feel things moving through me without being too graphic. And now I'm 2 days past the 14-day fast. So now I still have, green earth food. I still have the 4 Chinese medicine teas, and each Chinese medicine teas have different herbs in it for different organs to cleanse and different properties in it. And I have at night something that you take just to help things move through. I still have a lot of that left because, to be honest with you, I didn't drink all of the teas that I could have every day because I was supposed to have like at least 4 cups of tea a day, which was hard because a lot of them said on an empty stomach. So I recommend if you ever go through this cleanse that you get some of them in a capsule form. I just didn't want to wait for him to put it in a capsule. And I can drink things that aren't like totally delicious, but it does make it easier if you don't get the ones that are really bitter. The one that cleanses the liver, which is really bitter, in a tea form, because it is hard to get down. You'll take a couple sips, put it down. It's better just to swig it. So now that I've done the 14 days and I've never been a woman to say, I weigh this, I lost this much weight and all that. But I used to work at Lady of America, an all women's gym right around the corner. And I worked there from like 2000 to 2012. And I would teach maybe 2 aerobic classes, like a kickbow class. I was a personal trainer, but I only had maybe 1 client a month. But I worked with average women from around the world that just wanted to feel good, fit into a smaller size, no super athlete. And so I am used to being able to help someone and myself to lose 1 size within a couple of weeks by shifting their diet and light weights and yoga and maybe just a walk. So I will say that I am 1 size smaller. That might coordinate to about 10 pounds, but again, I'm not sure exactly. And my stomach isn't as bloated. And that bloated feeling came from when I would eat too much quinoa and too much of the carbs. Now, I stayed away from bread. I stay away from it almost all the time, except for when it's non-GMO, non-gluten bread. So now we're in the spring season, and there's a whole list of foods that are coordinated with the spring. And so this is what I'm eating now. So since my fast is over, I incorporated some brown rice. And I did eat a little bit too much last night, and the left side of my stomach, or not stomach, it's some organ that hurt a little bit. So now I know just have a small cup, not even 1 cup of rice, maybe make a cup and then have half of that, of the brown rice. So under fruits, I can have avocados, dates, grapefruits, lemon, lime, olive. And again, that's a mistake I made. I didn't realize olives and avocados are considered fruits because they have pits in the middle. So I did have a little bit of that during my 2-week fast, but I don't think it really hurt anything because avocados don't have a lot of sugar in it, and avocados don't, contribute to candida, and it has some good last. And they take over the Northwest Federal Credit Union and Green Fair, which is the green restaurant, the vegan restaurant in the shopping center in Herndon, where the Moms is. They put it on, and it was a wonderful festival. And I went there, and I got some really tiny, tiny olives that were from Tunisia. So that was really cool. But I got to get these like really kind of fancy olives, and something that I normally wouldn't get because it was with a vendor who was from Tunisia. So that was kind of like my treat. So I recommend if you do this green fast for 2 weeks, that you get something unusual that you look forward to. That was my treat, is having a couple of these really kind of salty, kind of special, elegant, olives. And then also an occasional avocado. That was like my special treat, where normally my special treat might be a gluten-free muffin or a gluten-free, I would say a gluten-free cookie, which still breaks down into sugar, which causes candida, which causes overgrowth of yeast, which causes other internal problems that I was starting to experience. Okay, let me move you closer in. Okay, great. So now with the vegetables, I can add in some beets, and beets is really good for the blood. So I'm going to add that in. So again, there are other things on this list that I can send you if you're interested. And then I can now have some beans, and I'm going to start including some lentils. And there are other ones like garbanzo beans and sprouted beans and fava beans and azudi beans. And in terms of grains, it says you can have barley, buckwheat, corn, rice, sprouted wheat. I'm not sure I'm going to have the sprouted wheat because like I said, for many years, I've had a propensity for candida. And according to the tests, I had way too much in my system. So I'm still going to stay away from the sprouted wheat for now. We'll see in 2 weeks after I have my follow-up visit and he looks at my tongue. You probably can't tell anything from my tongue, right? But a Chinese medical doctor can tell everything from your tongue. All right, nuts, almonds. Well, almond milk is filled with sugar, and preservatives and all that. So I just took some organic almonds and I soaked them overnight, and I made fresh almond milk. And that's really simple. Just put in your Vitamix. However, it doesn't stay in the refrigerator that long, so it's only good for about a week. So that was a treat to have a little almond milk in my organic cacao. And I ran out of the cacao that I brought from Costa Rica. So now I'm just, buying it at Mom's, like the powdered cacao 100%. I noticed that the bars there, none of them are 100%. On my porch, I wish I could get you over there, but by the time I get out there, it'll probably be gone. There is a nest on my porch, and a bird has come. And it's not the normal dove that comes, it's another bird. So the birds have been coming to me a lot lately, which is a representation of my ancestors, and they're coming to give me messages. You can probably hear, maybe. Yeah, it might be my mother. As you see, she just left. I wear feathers. I got these in Costa Rica. I got this on my first trip to Costa Rica in, I think it was 2018 March, and I got it my last trip in Costa Rica, which was February 2020. And then I met a gal who I can't figure out how to get them out, so they're just gonna have to grow up. She like clipped in these two feathers in my hair. So yeah, and I may pull a feather card for you as well. I have a wonderful deck on that. So let me speed this up. So in terms of seeds, you can have black sesame seeds. Now, I have to ask if I can have tahini sauce. I love tahini sauce, and it's made out of sesame seeds. There's something in it that does really well for my body. So I'm going to ask if I can have that. But it does say black sesame seeds. It says alfalfa in terms of seeds, radish, and sunflower. I didn't know radishes were seeds, but it's in that category. Now, for those who aren't vegan, it's totally okay. According to the Spring Food, Dr. Akmal's list, you can have codfish, halibut, mussels, and salmon. Now, again, it's not saying you have to be vegan. I choose to be for at least the next month, but those are the fish you can have. And meat, he actually said the bunny, hare. I've never eaten a hare, don't want to eat a hare, but things get rough and I see some bunnies out there. they're predicting food shortages. I may eat one, but other than that, it says hare and lamb, which I think is really interesting. As a child, I remember really loving a leg of lamb with a little bit of fresh mint and rice pilaf. Very kind of Mediterranean. So I don't know if that was from a past life or it was just, I naturally liked the Mediterranean when I went to University of Maryland, College Park. I used to love to go get the gyro. So if I had to eat meat, I don't want to eat any beef. My father had a farm. He called himself a gentleman's farmer. So that means I don't think he made a lot of money on it, but he had 100 head of cattle. So growing up, I was surrounded when I would go visit him with cattle, and they ate grass. They were not GMO'd. They were not injected with a lot of hormones. They weren't brutally hurt or killed. And so I did grow up eating beef. But at this time in my life, I don't choose to. But in the springtime, according to Chinese medicine, beef is not a time to eat. Spring is not a time to eat beef. The two is more lamb and hare. Don't know anyone that eats rabbits, but again, I have seen some jumping around resting, and they do reproduce quickly. So I know when I went to live in, I didn't live there, but I was there for about a month in Peru. A lot of the indigenous Andean people, they did eat the guinea pigs, and it was a delicacy there. And of course, growing up here, and guinea pigs are considered like a pet and a friend, especially in kindergarten. I couldn't actually watch the killing of the guinea pig. And so luckily when they had their big event, I was not around at that point. But the medicine people like to tease me and put one that was fried in front of my face. So that wasn't a nice joke, but I just had to take it in stride, So anyway, also in the springtime, nettles are good because of the allergies. So I actually see them growing everywhere. You just have to make sure you have on gloves because they have these little pricklies on them. But nettle is also really good for balancing the thyroid. And radishes and spinach and spring onions and sprouts and sugar peas. Like I said, there's a lot of protein in peas. I love the sugar peas. I love to just steam them lightly and then stir fry with some onion and garlic. So anyway, after doing 14 days of a spring cleanse, I will say that it was challenging for the first week, and then the cravings start to go away for the sugar, for the carbs, for the meats, even if you hadn't eaten meats in years, or the cheeses, it starts to go away. Don't do any like really intense physical workout. Like I would get up and go, oh, I'm going to do my yoga class. And I wasn't able to do it. And then what I did was I just tuned in to the ones that were already recorded, and I would do 30 minutes. Or instead of doing 8 pounds, like lifting weights, I would just do 5 pounds. So again, when you're cleansing, be very gentle with yourself. Do a, casual 30-minute walk, but not a full-fledged, because you are detoxing all of your organs, and your body is used to running on sugars and carbs and these other things that you're flushing out. And then once you're on the other side of it, then you slowly introduce, depending on what seasons in spring, these other foods that I had talked about. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my other format, which is, I like to do things like I'm a kindergarten teacher. That was my favorite job. I only did it for about a year, but actually the 4-year-old teacher, lead 4-year-old teacher. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with A, the letter A, and we're going to talk about affirmations. Matter of fact, we're not going to talk about it. I'm just going to, I have picked some last night to do with you. So here is the affirmations that I picked for today, April the 5th, 2022. And whoever watches this, it should resonate with you. And I suggest that you write this down. I love 3x5 cards, and they're really simple. And I use them as flashcards. And then you can put them around your house. You can put them in the mirror. You could be brushing your teeth and looking at them and saying them and writing them out. The writing really makes a difference. So the first one I picked, I've got about 6 of them here today, is I am making new choices. I'm choosing for my highest good and trusting the choices that I make. I am trusting myself. I am making new choices. I am choosing for my highest good, and I am trusting the choices I make. I am trusting myself. I am making new choices. I'm choosing for my highest good. I'm trusting the choices I make, and I am trusting myself. Now, any of you that are still a little nervous about the V, I call it the V, and ends with the Aris. So you know what I'm talking about. Again, the best way to prevent that for habitating your body and spreading in your body is to create a really strong immune system and an alkaline internal environment, because they thrive in acidity. And the number one thing that causes acidity is fear. False evidence appearing real. Anxiety. Those are the components that create fight, flight, or freeze. So, in conjunction with managing your anxiety, and I have some tips for that, I'll show you what I've been doing. It is creating a green, neutral, alkaline environment, like I just did by eating all of those greens, and nothing acidic. Okay, so this is from Louise Hay, and I've been a student of hers since like the 90s. And she really saved my life, because I was not in a good space. Right after I graduated from college, I had a new baby, and I didn't have a flow of income like I liked. And anxiety was number one, worrying about money. And this is the affirmation she created for anxiety, because it's really about not trusting that you'll have what you need in the future, and the flow of life, and that, great spirit and God and angels and the ancestors have got your back, feeling alone. So I love and approve of myself. I trust the process of life. I am safe. I love and approve of myself. I trust the process of life, and I am safe. I love and approve of myself. I trust the process of life, and I am safe. Okay, you can look her up, and under the affirmation for anxiety, define. Now I've got the one for Candida, and if there are 100 people in the room, probably 90% of them will have Candida, and then there'll be people that have it so badly that it will turn into a chronic illness and then it'll turn into a devastating illness that will take you to the other side. So if you're not ready to go to the other side, you want to get rid of this candida, you don't want to feel like, oh my God, I'm starving to death, I need this sugar like a addict, then this is a really good affirmation for you. It's the candida one from the Louise Hay You Can Heal Your Life book. So here it is. Well, actually, let me read to you the symptoms of it: feeling scattered, a lot of frustration, anger, demanding, and untrusting in intimate relationships and work relationships, and just feeling like people are takers, you know. So this is what I say on a regular basis, especially during this cleanse. I give myself permission to be all that I can be. I deserve the very best in life. I love and appreciate myself and others. I give myself permission to be all that I can be, and I deserve the very best in life. And I love and appreciate myself and others. One more time. I give myself permission to be all that I can be. I deserve the very best in life, and I love and appreciate myself and others. So that's the affirmation for Candida. This is a simple one. I am good, I am great, I am kind. I am good, I am great, I am kind. I am good, I am great, I am kind. You can remember that one. And this one is about influenza, which falls under the same category of the V. And so this is a good one to know. It's a response to mass negativity, beliefs, fear, belief in statistics. So, you know, there was so much going on with statistics, you know, and we don't really know what was really true and what wasn't. But not saying that the virus wasn't true at all or the V. I'm just saying in terms of statistics, it was really hard to judge because people had other issues going on as well. So this is a good one to say. I am beyond group beliefs or the calendar. I am free from congestion and influence. I am beyond group beliefs and the calendar. I am free from congestion and influence. I am beyond group beliefs or the calendar. I am free from congestion and influence. And this is one, hello, Affer. This is a good one. I am happy and grateful that, and then you fill in the blank before it happened. So I am happy and grateful that I have a strong alkaline body. So I was saying that before it even happened. I am happy and grateful that I have a strong alkaline body. I am happy and grateful that I have a strong alkaline body. So you could just fill in the blank. Could be, I am happy and grateful that I have a brand new home. I am happy and grateful that I have a, you know, wonderful divine masculine in my life, or divine feminine, or a new baby, whatever it is that you want. I have perfect health, but I'm grateful, I'm happy and grateful that. And then this is the last one for today. I will lift up my eyes. I will see myself and everyone else in the highest regard. I will lift up my eyes and I will see myself and everyone in the highest regard. I will lift up my eyes and I will see myself and everyone in the highest regard. And that really also helps with if you have jealousy issues, or if you have any insecurities, because when you see yourself and everyone in the highest regard, knowing they have a unique soul signature, and you have a unique soul signature, and you have a unique song, and they have a unique song, and you have a unique vibration, and they have a unique vibration, then we're all doing what we're supposed to be doing. And this is not a beauty contest. This is not a who has the most toys. You know, if I compare myself to Elon Musk, then I wouldn't even get out of bed in the morning, right? But if I compare myself to how I was last year, you know, or in the middle of the V, when a lot of my income went downhill, and some of the events that I would do were stopped, then, you know, I'm saying, well, wow, look at what I've done. Even in the midst of this, look at how I've shifted, look at how I've created, or I've had the courage to actually start my own YouTube channel, where I've been thinking about it for a long time, but it was like, you know, the shutdown was like, oh, this is what a lot of people are doing now. So anyway, those are A, affirmations. So the next one is B. So under B, I like to do some breath work. So I've already talked about Wim Hof and other ones. So You know, I do that just about every morning. So you could look up Wim, W-I-M, Hof. But now I'm doing the automatic writing course with Michael Sandler. And it's helping me tremendously. And I'll talk about that on another episode. But he has us put in the music when it's like you're kind of half awake, half asleep, as early as you can get up. And he has us put in the theta brain entrainment music. And so what that does is it gets your brain in the theta state. And the theta state is kind of like the state when you're sleeping. You know, the beta is when you're doing your daily things and you're driving and you're working and all of that. And then there's delta and then there's theta. So he has us put the theta in, and then he has us do just these 1 counts up to 10. And if your mind gets monkey, which mine often does, and you start creating a laundry list of what you have to do that day, then you have to stop. So what I do is I just breathe in 1 and then breathe out 1. And I'm just doing it in and out through the nose. Now I'll go on to 2 if my mind was clear. Hi birds. The birds are coming. So you breathe in. And you just go all the way up to 10. But when you're doing this on your own, if when you get to 3, you're starting to think about anything other than number 3 and breathing out and in, starting in at 1. And when you get yourself to 10 with a very clear mind, and then at that point is where I start, actually doing my invocation prayer, which I'll talk about in another one. But the whole point is under B, breathing, just 1 through 10. Very simple. Just breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, 1. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, 2. And then go all the way up to 10. And ideally, you want to get to the point where you can breathe in and out quietly, mindfully, without thinking of anything else. Okay. So letter C. So with letter C, again, I'm just going to reiterate C for cleansing. It's starting to get warm out, and this is a really good time to cleanse the liver. And the liver also holds anger. So if you have been angry at someone, if you've been angry at yourself, if you've been angry at a particular politician or rules or regulation, just cleansing out your liver will help with the anger. Okay. And so the way I choose to do it was just eating green for 2 weeks and going to Dr. Akmal and getting the Chinese medicine herbs to help flush it out. I wouldn't recommend just doing green without having some herbal supplements as well, at least a really good probiotic and a digestive enzyme. But if you have a naturopath, go to your naturopath, or I can recommend one for you. Now, D, dance. So I believe that ecstatic dance is starting to happen again. So that was a really great way for me to express myself. Now that it's warm out, dancing outside, around the fire, doing hula hoop, all of those things, and doing it actually barefoot is really good if you can. I can't walk too far barefoot because I have really flat feet. I got the feet from my dad, which is very good for swimming, but not so good for walking far. So again, the dance. And E is just kind of redundant, exercise. So I like to incorporate the three things, which is the aerobics, the weights, and the stretching. It's important to do all three. I know people that just do yoga and they don't do the, resistance. And so you want to do the resistance to build muscle. And then I know people that will walk for miles, but then they don't do the stretching, they don't do the light weights. And so, like under their arm, they may have a lot of excess adipose tissue. And it's not just about vanity, it's just even practically, we want to be able to lift our groceries and do all of these things up until we're 100. We don't want, and then also being hunched over. If you do like light, you can build up these back muscles. So the doing all three, which is the lightweight, just start with very light and then build up. Stretching and the aerobic part, which could just be a 30-minute walk. And let's see. Now I'm going to go, before we close, we're getting to the close. It looks like we're 36 minutes in. I'm going to, as you know, this particular shell here is a Quahog clam shell. Now, this is not one that I found on the beach of Martha's Vineyard. I have one of those. See. I'll find one before we close. But the ones that I found on Martha's Vineyard, they just have like a purple kind of rim. And the Wampano, which are the indigenous people that inhabited before the Europeans came, they called it a quena. They would take the purple part and they would make really intricate, beautiful jewelry with that. And as you know, or maybe you don't know, that purple was worn in ancient times, usually only by the royalty. And the reason for that is because it was so expensive to make purple fabric, because you needed lots and lots and lots of a certain mollusk that unfortunately they would boil this mollusk to make just 1 pound of fabric. So they killed a lot of these creatures. However, as modern times came, they learned how to actually stimulate this particular mollusk and pull the purple dye out, or the substance that made the purple dye. And they could, not kill tons of them and then keep using them for purple. That's why now purple fabric isn't more expensive than any other fabric. But this particular Quahog clam shell, they have a very sophisticated heart. The human heart has 4 chambers, and the Quahog clam shell, clam mollusk, has a 3-chambered heart that's just like a human heart. It's just missing 1 chamber. So scientists historically have used these clam shells, or not the shells, the mollusk, to do experiments. So they might have injected it with like nicotine, but they could see, this is the cause of, this is the effect if you smoke cigarettes over this many years, or, different substances. So, this clam has really helped humanity in sharing the knowledge of certain substances that we thought might have been okay. There was a time where cigarette smoking was considered cool and okay and beautiful, and movie stars did it. And then they could actually prove in a lab that it actually hurts the heart. So when you're attracted to the shell, that means look at your heart health, maybe go and get a checkup, and also about the heart chakra, maybe healing any heartache wounds that you might have from a relationship that could be with your family. I know I had some really devastating things happen with my family in the past. And so this shell, when you're attracted to it, has to do with the heart. Scientifically, like, what are you eating? I have some friends that are still smoking, and a lot of times when you're smoking, it's because of some deep emotional wound, and cigarette smoke is to kind of mask that wound. Now, again, a little bit of Native American peace pipe is fine, puffing on it the tobacco, but not smoking it with all the 350 or more chemicals they put into a regular cigarette. So anyway, I picked 3 cards for this. It's like a general reading. And it's interesting. It does have to do with the relationship and the heart. So the first one I picked is this card here. Can you see? Good. It's number 30. Desserts. Lyria is the name of this particular shell. Desserts, Lyria. So this is number 30. Pursuit of a relationship causing problems and compromising other situations. So have any of you, I know I have, pursued a relationship that actually can put you in danger as opposed to you being fulfilled with love and appreciation and mutual respect? Well, that's what this particular shell is talking about. Pursuit of a relationship causing problems and compromising situations. And you may, this is from the Ocean Oracle deck, What Seashells Reveal About Your True Nature by Michelle Hansen. I met the author. She lived in Massachusetts, and there's over 200 shells in her deck. And she came up with what they meant based on observing the particular mollusk and their interactions with humans, their interaction in the ocean, their interaction with others. So this is what she came up with. Lyria resides deep in the ocean. They will, however, venture out to shallow water to mate. This is only time that capture is possible. It is the mating instinct and the hormones that causes a problem for Lyria. In human terms, this translates to body chemistry creating compromising situations for oneself or others. So the extreme situation for that would be somebody who their hormones are imbalanced and they would actually go out and be with a prostitute. Now, we know that that's not the healthiest thing to do. It's not about a judgment. It's just about that person that they're with. What compromised situation are they putting themselves in? And the other person that's doing this day in and day out. And a lot of times they have had extreme childhood abuse. They are drug addicted. And so this is talking about just because, and then in modern days, it's this whole thing with this instant gratification. I'm going to swipe right. I'm going to meet with this person and then that's it. But you're also taking in their energy. You don't really know who you're getting with. You really don't know what kinds of substances they've ingested, what kind of, energy that you can pick up from that. So this is really all about like being mindful. Are you pursuing a relationship because your hormones are active, because you're feeling lonely, you've been locked in for 2 years? Are you just going for it because of that? Or are you really being mindful and saying, this is a body, mind, spirit, will help me with my soul mission. We can work together kind of relationship, because there are always consequences, and more for the women. Doesn't have to do with, chauvinism or anything like that. It's just that we take in the energy of the man. So it's a lot more compromising for us when we're with someone who is not for our highest good based on their behavior, based on substance abuse, based on all of those factors. So that's the first card. The second one is, you see this shell? I think it's really beautiful. It's called West Trailis Slit Shell, and something elusive or difficult to obtain. Something elusive or difficult to obtain. It's number 97. I don't have them all memorized. Some of them just have like a sentence about it. Some have like a whole page. So anyway, this West Trail Slit Shell, something elusive or difficult to obtain. Slit shells dwell, again, very deep in the ocean and are not enticed by bait, which makes capture difficult. Due to this elusiveness, these shells are traditionally only rarely seen in collection during the reign of the Japanese Emperor Hirohito, an avid oncologist, one species of slit shells was named the Emperor's slit shell. No one was allowed to possess this shell except the emperor or someone he had directly bestowed it on as a gift. So owning one meant great prestige. So what this is telling me is the first one is saying, getting in a relationship that can actually put you in danger. Okay. So for me, that's kind of like, some easy, quick kind of swipe right, just get with someone and it could put you in danger. You could be in a very dangerous situation by doing this. But this is like something that's elusive and difficult to obtain. So like thinking of yourself as royalty and then going and pursuing in a very methodical, slow way someone else. Because if someone is feeling really good about themselves, they're going to be extremely busy and they're going to be doing, sorry, my cat, they're going to not be easy to get. So that's the next one. And then the last one is the epicopal meter. Epicopal meter. So look at this. My mom made a shell necklace out of this. I don't know where it is right now, though. 143. Religion or spiritual values. So you see how this is all coming together? What are your spiritual values? If you're born in a certain religion, they have strict rules about sexuality. Don't have sex till you're married or whatever. We're not talking about this. This is has to do with religion or spiritual value. So what it says is, this shell obtained its name from the resemblance of the mitre headgear worn by clergy. Those like big kind of things that the Catholic clergy wear. So that's why they call it this. And attraction to the shell encouraged a more conscious evaluation of one's religious and spiritual values. So what I'm looking at is when you are in pursuit of a relationship and you feel that pursuing this relationship is going to put you in danger, you need to stop, halt, and then go down inside and say, oh, is this familiar because I had a parent that behaved this way? And can I flush this out of my system so I no longer am attracted to maybe someone who has a drug addiction or alcohol addiction or sex addiction or shopping addiction or whatever. And then the other one is something elusive or difficult to obtain. It's like to get a quality person. It's not necessarily easy, and you're a quality person too. So you have to, have the other person make an effort to be with you. It's not just, something simple, because you have to value your own life and love yourself, because you loving yourself is the most important. I know it's cliche. And then the last one is religion or spiritual values. What are your spiritual values? There's so many values out there right now. You don't have to have the values that your parents did because they were a certain religion. You have to come up with your own, especially in terms of in relationships. One spiritual coach said you should date for 3 months before being intimate. One Native American woman told me, don't even kiss somebody, because you can get their energy and it can bring you down unless you're married. So again, it's like, this is the time for us to go deep and, study what are the different philosophies out there and how can I take the gold nuggets from different ones of them, and especially when it comes to relationships. And I did want to tell you that a couple days ago, I live in Fairfax County. I decided to go to the Amber Heard, or Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. Now, I got there at 6:30 in the morning. The line was already about 150 people. They only give out 100 wristbands. So I did not get in. However, I realized, and I probably won't go back, but the reason I was there is because they are playing out on the world stage the classic, I had a dysfunctional childhood, and now no matter how beautiful I am on the outside, no matter how much money I have, no matter how famous I am, I haven't healed this inner childhood wound of not feeling good enough. So I am going to numb myself with alcohol. I'm going to numb myself or with some kind of Molly thing that they use, and take mushrooms in a very inappropriate way, not in a sacred ceremony led by a trained shaman. I'm going to put all these things together plus prescription drugs, and then my liver is going to be a mess, and my liver is going to be filled with anger, and then I'm going to clash with this partner, and one is going to be considered the abuser, and one is going to be considered the victim, and then it's playing out on the whole world stage for us all to see. So I'm not on the jury, so I'm not, I mean, I know if I was on the jury who I'd vote for, but I'm not going to say. All I'm saying is they're doing us a favor, because I think many of us have seen this. There's some narcissistic elements to it, which is, which is come to the forefront. There's physical abuse, emotional abuse. There's trauma bonding. There's the money can't buy happiness. One of her opening lines was, oh, my cat's throwing up for some reason. One of the opening lines was, he made me feel like $1 million. Well, the thing is that you have to make yourself feel really good first. And $1 million is fleeting. $1 million today, and then make the wrong decision, and you don't even have $1 million. So anyway, I really feel like this is about relationships, and it does have to do with what we're seeing. If you're watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard, because I live in Fairfax, I decided I would go, and now the cat's out of the bag, so to speak. So there are people that were camped out since 4 a.m, which I realized is not for my highest good to get there at 4 a.m, and then you get a wristband at 7 a.m. and 4 a.m, it is cold and it is dark. And so I just said, well, I'll just send energy from here, but from the grace of God go I. I know that dynamic very well. And I'm praying for both of them not to be traumatized any more than they already have been. But I do have my own personal opinion on who I would vote for. And I don't like controversy, so I won't say, but you could probably guess. Anyway, so I'm going to close with some more chimes. And the chimes, they help bring in the angels. So we're going to thank the angels, Michael, Gabriel. Let's put in Sandalphon. Thank you so much, my Earthlight Promotions friends. You can go to my website, earthlightpromotions.com, and you can sign up to get my monthly newsletter. I do the ocean oracle readings, and in the springtime, I am giving a discount for just $45. It's an hour reading, and I email you a picture of 200 shells, and then you say your full name that's on your birth certificate and come up with a general question, and then you pick the numbers on the shells, 10 of them that you like and 4 that you don't like, and then I interpret it for you in a 1-hour Zoom meeting that we both agree upon. Works for both of us, and it's $45. And you can do through PayPal or Venmo or whatever. And please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. I've never asked that before, but in order for me to be able to do some live streams from my cell phone, I need more subscribers. So just to recap what we talked about today, May the 5th, was the importance of eating green, cleansing for the springtime, cleansing out all of your organs, getting rid of the candida and the sugar cravings, and having a neutral alkaline body. and a good immune system to fight off the V or anything else that tries to get you, because there are a lot of other things out there in the environment that we're living in. Unfortunately, we're not living in 5D paradise yet. So, and also affirmations. I gave you some affirmations. The affirmations work in conjunction with breath, because when you do the breath, you can kind of start to unwind any of the subconscious traumas that you may still be holding on to. And under C, like I said, cleansing. And D, now that it's nice out, go outside and dance barefoot if you can, connecting with the soil. It's very grounding. And again, with exercise, I recommend light weights, walks, yoga. And that's it for today. So again, I'm Beverly L. Nickerson, shell reader, spiritual coach, and I really enjoy being here for you. My goal is to do a different video every single week, and then once I get better at it, to start doing videos outside, and then maybe getting fancy with Instagram. So we'll see how this evolves. All right, again, peace, love, blessings from Beverly L. Nickerson. Thank you so much for watching.